Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is the LWN Live with Nature Foundation's Town Hall Get to Know. And we have a very special guest this evening. I'm so very excited. We have the newly elected Vice Mayor, Erik Arroyo, with us this evening. We're going to be talking about how community, yes, your community, and as well as ours right here in Sarasota, Florida, matters and how that's important and how it's important for you to get involved in community and get the community to do the things that you wanted to do and to be enjoyable and a place that people want to be and go out and enjoy themselves. And so we're going to be talking about that this evening. I want to tell you a little bit about Vice Mayor Mr. Erik Arroyo. Super dynamic gentleman. I am truly blessed to be able to have him on my show this evening, and he was just recently elected, as a matter of fact, to the position of vice mayor. I'm going to have him explain that. I'm not so familiar with exactly vice mayor, but I know that he's very active in the community. And so we're going to be talking about that as well. He was originally born in the Dominican Republic and raised by a single mother who brought him to Sarasota. And he has become a proud American citizen and pursuing the American dream. When Eric graduated from a Riverview High, that is a local high school right here in Sarasota. Actually, my stepson went to that school. He became the first in his family to receive a high school diploma. And so that was a major accomplishment. And now he is the vice mayor, a city councilman as well, an entrepreneur helping people with wills and their trust. He is an attorney, and he's also a judge at teen court. And we'll probably talk, I'd like to, a little bit about teen court. It's a great opportunity for kids to try and get themselves back together. We're very much aligned in our thinking with respect to helping people that might have drug and alcohol problems. He also is concerned about homelessness in this city. And so we're going to be talking about that too. And so, without further ado, I would love to go ahead and bring him in, but I want to preface it by this. He indicates that being sworn in as the vice mayor of Sarasota is one of the biggest, greatest honors of his entire life. Um, he was focused on not beholding to any one group or special interests, and he drew insight and inspiration from Walt Whitman's poem. And I'm going to read that. From this hour, I ordain myself loosed of limits and imaginary lines, going where I list my own master, total and absolute, listening to others and considering what they say, pausing, searching, and receiving and contemplating gently, but with undeniable will, divesting of himself of the holds that would hold him. Awesome. So awesome. So let me bring him into the studio. And welcome, Vice Mayor Erik Arroyo. Erik, thank you so very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me in this show. It's amazing. You have a long line of very impressive speakers, and I'm glad you invited me to attend.
Yes, thank you very much. You're right at the top. I must admit that. I'm really seriously beside myself that you took time to come and join me. I know that our thinking is aligned very much so, and I get to learn, and that's why I like to do this, because I learn and grow from the people that I have on my shows so that I can become a better person. And then I try and help others and inspire them to motivate them to become a better person too as well. Now, what I'd also like to do is just thank all the viewers. If you happen to be watching on Facebook or YouTube, remember to share this video out, because this is going to help someone by doing that. They're going to become more educated and they're going to learn something. And so we appreciate you. We also appreciate all the viewers that watch us on e360tv.com, as well as Amazon Fire, Roku TV, Apple and Android TV. So if you have a smart TV, you can download the E360 TV app and watch us on Real TV, because this is a Real TV show, and we're so grateful for you tonight. So why don't we start with you just telling the viewers a little bit about yourself, Erik?
Well, you covered a lot of it. So, well, what I'll tell you, yeah, I mean, was born in the Dominican Republic. I was raised in Sarasota. I consider myself a person who's seen Sarasota change. I was involved with the teen court in high school, and I am today still involved. And that's an organization I've been involved with for over 14 years, 15 years. And
Awesome.
um, you know, being an elected official is a great honor because you get to, when you get elected, that's really when the work starts. You normally don't appreciate all the things that could be improved in the city, but now I'm just walking around and I'm seeing all the potential that could be there, and I'm hearing from people like that are active in our community, and they find ways to improve our community. There's always something, and I'm really really proud to be in Sarasota because a political pundit said that Sarasota is one of the most educated electorate. They said you cannot just send mailers and win an election in Sarasota. You have to meet the voters. They are very well informed.
It's a great place to live. I'm really proud to be able to live here. Of course, we know it's a worldwide destination. People love to come here and visit us. Well, we have a great beach too, Siesta Key. We can't beat that. Been voted what, number one
Number
3
one,
times?
all the time. I mean, when we get number two, we get disappointed.
Yes, exactly. I had Jim Warren, Grammy Award winning artist, here with us the other day. His art's in the Wyland Galleries. There's one down on the Circle, St. Armand Circle. And, you know, I had to admit, all right, Clearwater's a nice beach, but they took it away from us a couple years back.
But we always come back. I mean, it's amazing. It's sort of it's a tropical oasis. You walk through Sarasota, all the beaches. I mean, Lido,
Yeah,
particularly South Lido, is amazing. My family in particular likes Lido
yeah, I do
because
too.
while Siesta Key, it has equally nice sand. I mean, their sand is just so pure. It's sort of a powder. Uh, on Lido, you could literally sit under a tree or like a hammock or whatever you want to have, and the water is like 50 feet away, and that's amazing. That's a great way to relax.
And they've replenished that beach a few times. I know that you've talked about that too, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And they're in
it's
the process of doing another one now.
Yeah,
They're judging it.
yeah. Well, I don't know. My thought is we want a nice beach, and that's a great idea. It's a whole ton of money, I know, to do that stuff. Hell, they can just go down to Siesta Key, right?
Yep.
Because that's the quartz sand that they're putting on that beach.
Yeah.
But go
They
ahead.
do, but it's not only the city's responsibility.
Yeah.
It's also the federal government's responsibility. So
Ah.
we don't get the entire say as to how it's maintained.
Oh.
The Army Corps of Engineers comes and they usually it's like a 60-40 split in terms of responsibility, and 60% goes to them.
Ah. Well, okay, so that's good. The federal government's helping to make sure that we get lots of visitors too, because
Yeah,
we do have really the best beaches in the country, as far as I'm
yeah,
concerned.
yeah.
Well, tell us, well, let's start with this because I need to get clarified on this. I see that you're voted the vice mayor. How is that different, or tell us about being a vice mayor versus quote the mayor?
Well, the vice mayor takes the place of the mayor in the event that the mayor can't make the meetings. The role in Sarasota is largely ceremonial, in
Mhm.
that you are elected into the commission. You are one of 5 commissioners, and within the commissioners, they select the mayor and vice mayor every year. So it changes. So conceivably, you would be in the commission, for a term of 4 years, and it's highly likely that you will become a mayor or vice mayor if you do a good job. So
Excellent. Well,
that
certainly you've done that.
is, well, I got it on my first day, so I don't know. Tell me more about that in 3 years.
Okay, so it's a 3-year term,
4 year term.
4-year term,
Hmm.
and you were effective just in November, correct?
I was elected like it's today the second. I was elected. I mean, one month tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Just
Yeah,
last
so
month.
that's it's fun.
So awesome. I mean, you really have been active in the community for a very long time, like with teen court, and I think that that's very, very dynamic,
Great.
to be able to help, particularly our teens, because that's our future. Um, do the right thing.
Yeah, Teen Court is such a great organization because if you look at the kids that get in trouble and they they go through juvie, they have
Hmm.
such a high chance of just recommitting a crime and getting stuck in that system. But Teen Court offers kids, they don't have to be students, but just kids, the ability to get a second chance.
Hmm.
By that I mean if if you are under the age of 18 and it's the first time that you're getting arrested, the arresting officer has the discretion of sending you to teen court. And you go to teen court where the judge is an adult, but the jury, the the bailiff, the it's your parent and a jury of your peers. So you have this case in front of jurors who are either volunteers or past offenders, just like those who are going through teen court.
Hmm.
You get a sentence of community service hours. You have to come back and serve as a juror. You have to sometimes you get a constructive sentence, like you have to attend peer circle sessions and which are sort of therapeutic in a way. But you talk about your actions and what prompted you to do them. If you complete the teen court program, you only get one shot at teen court, by the way.
Okay.
If you complete the teen court program, it is completely removed, that charge completely removed from your record forever.
That's.
Let me give you an example.
Hmm.
Um, when I was in teen court a while ago, I have this partner that's with me. He's 34 years old, and he's an attorney at our firm. But I met him at teen court. I met him when he was 17 years old. He went through. He was charged with 27 felonies.
Ooh.
Stefan Campagna is his name, and he wouldn't mind me telling this story because he tells everybody this story.
Okay.
He's actually he's a spokesperson for the national teen court. Um, and he went through the teen court program. 27 felonies got removed from his record. He's now an attorney that practices with me because of teen court. Can you believe that?
That's so awesome, you see, and see that's how that can work is that it can give you that break and give you the opportunity to be able to go out and do something good. I mean, I know for myself, I made a lot of poor choices in my past, but then I also made a decision to do it differently. That's why I'm doing the LWN Live with Nature Foundation. That's why I've got the referral center to be able to help others because I was there, drinking and doing drugs back in the day and just wrecked my life. Ended up homeless, ended up on the streets here right here in Sarasota. But now it's time for me to pay back, and I think that that's kind of sort of a message here for people is that we can make mistakes, but if you do the right things, you can come back and you can actually be an asset to your community.
That's right. I mean, that's I never knew that about you. Tell me, can you tell me more about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so if you've seen me before, I'm talking to the viewers now. Yeah, my story is pretty straightforward. I mean, I guess it is for me. What happened for me was is that in fact back in 2010, I was drinking and driving. I ended up going to jail, and when I came out of jail, I ended up being homeless. And so I was living in the woods, and I made a decision at that point in time. It's like, look, you made some seriously wrong decisions. Um, and I had a choice. Do I fly, as they say, above the wire or below the wire? Do I want to be homeless? Well, I love camping, but I chose that not to be my lifestyle. And I said, well, I want to be an asset. I had a good life. I've done a lot of great stuff, but the drinking got in the way. So I stopped the drinking, stopped doing the drugs, and started working and pulled myself back up into the company that I work for in the family business now that I had started, because I lost everything, virtually everything as a result of drinking and driving. So if you're drink, please don't drive.
Don't
That's
drive.
number one. Don't do that. There's plenty of Uber, Lyft, the
Yeah,
bar themselves will get you home.
AAA
Okay.
AAA offers people free rides on these holidays.
Yeah.
New Year's, Thanksgiving. I mean, you just call them; they'll get you a ride. Because some people are worried about the finances, and I get it because of COVID. A lot of people have lost their jobs, but they still want to go to a Thanksgiving feast or something with with family. And then they are very hesitant to about driving, and that's a great way of doing it. Just call AAA; they'll help you out.
Exactly, exactly. So there's another alternate choice, because if you make the kind of choice that I made, which was saying I'm not going to drink or drive if I drink, which went right out the door after I'd been drinking, and then end up going to jail, losing control of the business that I started, losing all my material stuff. It can be difficult, but then I made the choice to change it, and so it's been a long haul back. But about 3 years ago, I started doing live video on Facebook, and it evolved into the LWN Live with Nature Foundation, which is a resource platform for positive transformational change. And so I just simply share my story, my experience, and the hope that I have for the future, and hope to inspire people to make choices. And that evolved into a New Life Referral Center, which is actually a division of the foundation, where we refer people to places like First Step here in town. Um, Manatee Glens, places where people can get recovery, because I want to help people get better, and then also help people that are homeless get the resources that they need, and hope to someday, the plan is next year, hopefully that will come together, to have an actual facility here in town that is called a New Life Transformational Center. And that's going to be a place to help people once they step out of recovery or they step out of Salvation Army program, to have a place to go and not end up homeless, and then give them all the tools that they want, so that, or that, not that they want, that they need, to be able to reintegrate back into society. And so that's my golden plan, Eric.
What prompted you to do this? I mean, there must have been some driving force that says,
Um,
because you don't just stop doing drugs. I mean, what like if you're
yeah.
addicted in some way, you can't.
I've been through recovery 3 times. And the first couple times it wasn't for me. It was for the parents, or for, the girlfriend, or whatever, or for the job, or whoever. My point is this: if you do it for somebody else and you don't do it for yourself, it'll never happen. So I did do it for myself finally. And then the truth of the matter for me is that only by the grace of God and turning my life and my will over to Him have I been released of the addiction. I don't stress over it anymore. And I just stopped drinking and I don't do drugs anymore. And I started living a healthy lifestyle and had to implement a plan. Well, that plan is called a routine. It's a healthy routine. It's surrounding yourself with influencers is one of the things that I did. I started following the top influencers all around the world, learning and growing from them, getting up early, saying a prayer of gratitude, doing affirmations. And then it evolved into, about 3 years ago, doing a morning broadcast, the Sunrise Daybreakers, which is still going on to this day, and just welcoming in a brand new day, connecting to nature, connecting to source, and then connecting to community. And so, because of the constant routine, my connection to my higher power, whom I call God, my life has just gotten so beautiful. It's just so wonderful, and more than I ever even imagined. So that, but we weren't here to talk about my story, but that's my
That's a
story. And
great
so
story. That's a great story.
it's called, for Stephen, it's called, it's time to pay it forward and pay it back. And so that's why I created the foundation that was effective January 1. As a matter of fact, I'm coming up on 1 year here on January 1st. Um, got the New Life Referral Center going. We're starting to help some people there, get them to the resources. And then hopefully this transformational center where I can actually, it's going to be a holistic standpoint, from the holistic standpoint, mind, body, and soul, help people get their lives back together and reintegrate, hopefully set a an example that can be patterned and then taken all over the country. I mean, this is my goal. This is what I want to do.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank
That's
you.
a great goal. You have a vision and you're following through.
I am. It takes a lot of work, and it takes consistency, and it takes a healthy routine, and it takes getting back up when things seem to go bad or whatever, or we have things that happen to us that set us back. Just having to release all that stuff. I had to forgive myself, by the way, Eric, for the mistakes that I'd made.
Yeah,
That
I
was a
mean,
big part of it.
yeah, you have to. You have to. You can't move forward if if you hate yourself, or if you have some sort of resentment for your past actions. You have to accept it, forgive, and move on.
Exactly, exactly. So if you release yourself from the bondage of what I refer to as feeling sorry for myself, is what I was doing, big pity pot. Yeah, well, that gives me another reason to have a drink back in the day. But it's like, I just don't even have to do that anymore. And that's the beautiful part of it.
That's great.
That that obsession's gone.
And
It's
all that
been
was
long
in
gone.
Sarasota.
Pardon?
All this happened in Sarasota.
Yes, right here. I've been here for 20 years.
Hmm. Did you go to high school here?
Pardon?
You didn't go
No,
to high
I
school.
did not. No, no, no. Thanks for thinking that I'm younger. I appreciate that.
No, I don't know. You
No,
moved up.
actually, I came here in 2000, September 2000, moved out here to be closer to family. My parents lived here. They had a place on Siesta Key, and fell in love with Siesta Key in Sarasota. And I've been here since then. We've got a family business here in town as well. And so we've been doing that for 15 years now. I started that in June of '06. Lost total control, but and I'm not an owner anymore, but I'm a good technician. That's what I do. you know
What kind of technician?
Pardon?
What kind of technician?
Okay, so what we do is that we refinish. It's an interesting story, I think it is, and this wasn't about me, but you got me talking, right? Okay, so I transform tubs. I give them new life. I reglaze them with a non-toxic, safe porcelain glaze. And so I make old tubs look like brand new, tile walls, and put this coating on there that makes it like new, save our customers thousands of dollars versus the replacement. And so I say that I get to transform tubs and tile and old stuff and make it new and give it new life in my day job, and I'm doing that with the foundation too. So,
Do you have old tubs that you just have and sell and say remodel, or does someone have to have that old tub to do it?
yeah, this is instead of actually tearing out an old cast iron tub that's a perfectly good tub, it just is worn out, and we'll put a new finish on it and make it like new.
But you don't have the tub. Like if I wanted to buy a tub from you that you have redone,
The
you
only tub I've got that I've held on, I haven't cut loose of it yet, is a 1914 clawfoot tub. I love the clawfoot
I'm
tub.
asking because I'm on the market for a tub.
Okay, well, I'll give you some advice on that after the show. Um, absolutely. If I love clawfoots; they're my favorite. But yeah, I can give you some advice on that. Um, if you're totally redoing a bathroom and you're willing to take out the old tile, if you've got tile and stuff in the typical Florida bathroom, you can do that. You can keep an old tub. You can make it look like new, or you can just redo it, and
Yeah,
and just depends on what the customer wants. And so yeah, I can certainly put you in touch with some great people, and because we built up a great clientele and references, and we've got a great reputation here in town, and we like to keep it that way. So anybody that we work with has got to have a good reputation too.
that's good.
So yeah, be happy to help you, give you some guidance on that, and try and
Got
save you some
myself a tub. I wasn't expecting that today.
Well, neither was I. Yeah, I've got 5 pages of notes here, Eric. Okay, so let's move on to some like community orient. Well, this is community because of course that's what we do. We help our community here with the
Mhm.
saving them tons of money. So I'll back up and say Sarasota is a great place to live. A lot of people want to come here, as a matter of fact, and that's fine. I happen to, more about me. Where's this going to? I'm a local guide with Google Maps, and so I do reviews for them, and I also post pictures. And some people might not like me so much because I've had a lot of views. I mean, I really have. I do reviews of local businesses and post up pictures. And the truth of that matter is, I've actually had about 9 million views of my photos and about almost 200,000 views of my reviews on Google Maps. But
Wow,
that's just something I do. I don't get paid for that. I just do that for the community.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's education.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a while. It's fun. Okay. So let me see, where am I? All right. So you had there was like, and I found this information about you had to answer some questions about why do you want to be the vice mayor and represent Sarasota. I'd like you to also talk about the fact you are on the board of commissioners, and so you make decisions, and help decide what this city does.
Yeah, yeah. People don't understand. Some people just don't know the difference between what the different levels of government do, but it impacts you the most. The city commissioners, they there's five of us, and we decide what if a building goes up, if it doesn't go up, if we are going to allow lights downtown, if we're going to hire more police, if we are going to fix a sidewalk, we allocate funds. It's decided at the city level if there's going to be a roundabout there. It's so much. I mean, it's really, really an honor to be in this position, because as someone who came from this community, I know that there are certain areas that get sort of neglected.
Hmm.
And before, there was a trend of elected officials coming to Sarasota, running for office, and we were always putting our money downtown. So what resulted was the district that I ran in receives the least amount of funding out of the entire city. So our roads don't get taken care of. We don't get a lot of code enforcement or patrolling from the police. We don't. It's sort of just forgotten. And I think we need a champion who represents the area to come in and try to allocate more funds this way, fix these roads, and make sure that our quality of life is just the same as it is downtown and all the other districts.
Hmm. Hmm. And so you're referring to District 3? Is it
Yeah.
what you're referring? Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. And that is important because that helps to bring community together. It shouldn't just be exclusive to just the straight downtown area. I mean, we know that there's a lot of money in this town. One of the things that you talked about though was housing, because the average guy can't really afford to live here. It's very expensive. And so you've got ideas about that. Maybe you can tell our viewers about your ideas about how it can be more affordable here in Sarasota for the average person.
Well, the traditional way of thinking was that eventually housing will become affordable to everyone, right? That it was that if you create a house, it's going to cost $1 million or 800,000, whatever, but that neighborhood won't be so up and coming in 30 years. Very few of us live in a brand new home built this year, and you can sort of correlate that to cars, right? People have, but nobody ever talks about affordable cars. Um,
Right.
right? Because eventually, you buy something that's in your price range. But people do complain about affordable housing at the municipal level, because we restrict the amount of building there is artificially. Like the city says, you can only build if there's so much density, and you have these restrictions. What that results in is that the developers are building luxury housing. It's sort of, if you told Toyota that they could only build 1,000 cars per year, you think they would build the Camry? No, they would probably let go of only build Lexuses at that point. So the way we fix or we create affordable housing opportunities is by allowing people, and regular people like you and me, to, let's say, add an accessory dwelling unit, a mother-in-law suite. It should be easy to do. You should walk into City Hall, walk out with a permit to do it. Allowing tiny homes. I mean, you look all over Colorado, Utah, California, parts of New York, New Jersey. I mean, there are these great trends to people just want to build a tiny home, a home that costs about $15,000 to build,
Right.
and you can rent that out. I mean,
Very
and the
important.
market sort of regulates itself, because you're not going to charge $2,000 a month for a house that costs $15,000 to build. So you would price it accordingly. A tiny home with
Yes.
smaller space would come at an affordable price. You would get $300-$400 for it a month, and that's affordable. But we don't allow that. Our current code doesn't allow just tiny homes. It doesn't allow duplex. It's very difficult to create a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex or an accessory dwelling unit. So we need to make it easier for people who may even need help paying their own mortgage to get a little bit of help. And I think that's our role as government. It's just to allow the innovators, the people, to create opportunities for other people.
That's excellent. I know that Northport has a tiny homes community, and I know that a good friend of mine, no, come on, I'm gonna lack a name, Kevin. Um, come on, Stephen. I've had him on my show. Shoot, I'm not getting his last name right
I
now.
only know like 3 Kevins.
Hmm.
I only know about 3 Kevins.
He owns the Axe House down there in Northport. Have you ever heard of that?
No. Is that
Uh,
where you throw the axes and you do
yeah, throwing the axes at
I
the
thought,
target. Yeah.
I've been meaning to do that. I don't,
Oh,
looks fun. I've never done it.
yeah, it's really interesting. He is a great person, and I'm totally fading on his last name. Great person. He ran for councilman down in Northport last year. Really just an honest guy, and not necessarily quote politician, but a people guy, caring about the communities. Just a super guy. I just highly recommend. The Axe House, by the way, down in Northport. Um, okay. So I think the tiny homes is a good answer with respect to that. I know that they're doing a lot of stuff, and one of the things that are really important to me, and I think to this community as well, and it's the community has spent a lot of money trying. As a matter of fact, this is an interesting story. Is that back in see, I was homeless in 2011. I was one of the lucky ones. I actually had a camp and I had a tent, and so most people don't have that are homeless. But nonetheless, there was this gentleman that came up to me and he was doing a survey because at the time we were doing a survey trying to find out about homeless and what can we do to help the homeless and try and, reduce the homeless population in Sarasota. And I became a statistic for that. I was one of the ones that had a campsite and, gave him the information that he fed back to. I can't even think of the guy's name that did this report for us. But my question really is more so homelessness is important, reducing the population here in town. What kind of answers do you have for that, Eric?
Well, if you look at homelessness, Sarasota does some things amazingly well, and then other things we can greatly improve on. For example, if you look at children and families,
Yes.
we offer probably the best service there is out there to assist those individuals. The turnaround time, I mean, to help single mothers who have children, is amazing. We are second to none in the United States. So where we really lack is helping the single males and females between the ages of 25 and 50. That's who you see downtown. It's the people who enjoy that lifestyle. It's the people that have mental health needs that haven't been met. Um, and how we solve homelessness is we get the services to those people. Ultimately, that's what it boils down to. Every single plan that you've seen out there is just a way to facilitate services for the people that need services. Every uh, you know every program with the courts that says you can get a lower sentence if you get the services is to get you services. Every program that talks about the homeless outreach teams, the hot teams as they call them, is to get you access to these services. So if we're going to advance as a community and we're going to solve this very, very serious issue, we need we need to find a way to give people the services that they need. Some people don't want the services. Some people don't believe they don't need the services. But 51% of the homeless individuals identify as having some sort of mental health issue.
It's interesting that you say that because yes, and that's kind of why felt that it was important from a bigger scope, because a lot of people only focus on one thing. Is it drug addiction or recovery, or is it homelessness, or is it mental health issues? Whereas uh, my plan is to help as many people as possible, because the people that are homeless might have the alcohol or drug problem, or the other way around, or mental health issues. They might find themselves homeless as a result. And so I want to have something that would help all those people within the same place. And that's where I feel that the LWN Live with Nature is different, because we're going to be more comprehensive and have all those professional services right there in one place. One of the things that we're working on right now is our collaboration with the Rise of the Butterfly, Layla Love, who is a world renowned artist. And she donates the profits from her foundation that was developed with Gloria Steinem, by the way, about 3 years ago. And to support survivors of human trafficking, because human trafficking is a huge issue that those people need help too. Even the people that are soliciting or involved in that illegal trade, and it's deplorable and horrible what's happening, need to be helped. They all need to be helped, supportive. And so that's what we've been working on lately, is helping those survivors of human trafficking.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember when we were talking in our first conversation over
Yeah.
the phone, we talked about this, and we even talked about some local organizations that
Yes,
we
Sheila
both
Freedom.
support. Yeah, Sailor Freedom. Yep,
Yeah.
great
And
organization.
absolutely. And so our plan here is that next month is actually Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and so we're planning to do a fundraiser where those funds can, well, you can actually buy artwork through Rise of the Butterfly. Some of her artwork. She's got a clothing line, and then those monies will be able to help some survivors. And so I'm looking forward to that. That's coming up next month. But it is something that I wasn't completely aware of until I was introduced by another local. Well, the our medical advisory board position is with Dr. Jenny Wilkins, who owns Age Vital right downtown, a health and wellness pharmacy and um, center. And so she's a naturopath, 2019 naturopath of the year, once again nominated by the International Association of Top Professionals for being excelling in her field of natural medicines. She guides us, and she connected me to Layla, and so that was really awesome. I was very pleased with that. That was very cool. As a matter of fact, I just talked to Layla last night. She, and so that's pretty exciting. We've been working on coming up with some real answers there, because we really do want to raise the awareness um, with respect to human trafficking. I don't know. I did a 2-hour special. We had a panel on TV about a month and a half ago. It was a great show, very informative, because we'd like to put an end to human trafficking.
Yeah, yeah, it all sort of ties in, right? Because if you look at people who are homeless, people who are suffering because they can't find affordable housing,
Mhm.
those are the targets. It's
Yes.
usually yeah. I mean, the people who are vulnerable, down on their luck. Um, those are the people that these traffickers think are forgotten, and and they go after them. So it's our job as a society to make sure that doesn't happen and to protect them.
That is the truth, and that's how. Now, why don't we talk about how people can get involved in community and then make a positive impact in their communities, because it's not just specific here to Sarasota. I mean, you are, and I am, but I want to send a message to everybody that might watch this show. What should they do to help out their communities?
Oh, well, look, it's you can do so much. You can be impactful at any level. It depends on what you're passionate about. You can start by adopting a road, and you can clean a street. 4 times a year. You can get involved with your local neighborhood association. We have such a philanthropic and giving community that just go volunteer. That's how I started with Teen Court, and then I got involved with some other organizations. And it's just keeping an open mind, and always having that sense of curiosity for getting involved in the community.
I think it's important that, if you're thinking, I'm talking to viewers out there, if you're thinking that you want to try and make an impact, then one of the easiest things you can do is just go volunteer to an organization that is doing the same thing that you are passionate about. I think you made a good point with that, Eric. Absolutely. Find what you're passionate about. See, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I am passionate about helping people not have to maybe make some of the same mistakes that I made, and go down that road of drinking and driving, or not being on top of my game, and then not doing as good a job as I could have done, because I was being selfish and drinking and sacrificing family, friends, relationships, including even my children and stuff. And we can all make a mistake, like I said before, but we can also change those and let go of what we've done, and then start working by volunteering. Volunteering is super important. So I suggest to everybody that hears this right now, please go and volunteer. And if you can donate to that organization, do that as well. They need your help, because just like the LWN Live with Nature, we are a community foundation. That's what it is. That's really important. So what I'd like to do right now, actually, is I'm acknowledging Cool Today. We really appreciate Jamie D. D'Amico. He was with us the other night of Cool Today. They are, if you need air conditioning, heating, electrical, or plumbing needs, definitely look up Cool Today. Make the best of today by calling Cool Today. They are happy to help you, as well as if you need your tub refinished. Gosh, I know a company. So I'd like to just quickly here go to a quick commercial, and then we'll be right back, folks. Let me just get that up for us, and we will be right back.
We let our bathtub go too long. It had rust in it, it had deep pitting in it, there were chips. I quite frankly thought it was unrepairable.
Total Coatings is a family-owned and operated bathtub and shower refinishing company. We've been around since 2006, but we use a exclusive non-toxic porcelain coating that was developed over 60 years ago by a franchise in California. So the product is very well established. We refinish bathtubs, showers, wall tile, countertops, and even sinks. Customers want to know what makes our product different, and that's, of course, the exclusive non-toxic porcelain. We also don't acid etch the surface, so you don't have to leave your home because of noxious fumes.
I was completely and utterly shocked. It looked like a brand new bathtub. I would recommend Total Coatings to anybody.
So we want to thank Total Coatings for sponsoring this show, as well as Cool Today. And if you know Cool Today, they also have the Braves Spring Training Center. We're looking forward to the Braves coming back here. Hopefully they'll be able to play this year and we can go watch them. Are you a Braves fan, Eric?
Yes. Any team that plays locally, I'm a fan of.
Excellent. Yes. And we have a couple of them. We got the Orioles right here as well down the road. Gotta love them too. Absolutely, down at Ed Smith Stadium. So we're talking tonight about community and about how your community matters. And we care about you, and we want you to be able to make a positive impact in your community. And you can do that by volunteering. We talked about that. When you were campaigning to become the vice mayor, Eric, you had talked about a couple things, the three most important things to you. And one was to implement a common sense plan to solve the homelessness issue, reduce wasteful spending, and being fiscally responsible to the city, and address the traffic and infrastructure issues in specifically District 3, which receives the least amount of money of all these districts. And so maybe you can just expand upon your plan here as to your goals and achieving those goals for the city of Sarasota.
Well, I feel that if we are fiscally responsible, we as a city can have funds and resources that we can allocate towards other projects. If we save $1 million here, we can fix a road here. If we can avoid incurring more costs here, we can better be prepared for COVID and all the repercussions of that. So my entire reason for running is because we are spending money at the city level at an uncontrollable rate, and it would do us well to manage our finances so that our utility rates remain low, so that our taxes are lower, and so that our city's affordability and quality of life remains the same. We're just trying to preserve that quality of life, because every time you borrow, 250 million, you have to, anytime there's a large project, the money has to come from somewhere. And if you borrow, it's coming from us repaying through taxes. And if we, or if like this water infrastructure project that the city has is $370 million, it's coming out of our utilities. So the utility rates are going to increase about 47% over the next 10 years. That's a huge change that will just really devastate a lot of families. So it's important that we don't lose our touch with the people that are going to be heavily affected by this. And that's why I ran, because I felt that the commission was tone deaf to the average person.
That's, well, certainly what you were trying to do and what you've been saying worked, and people believe in you, and I do, and I'm really just excited that I'm getting to know you better, and certainly looking forward to seeing how the LWN can fit into being a solution as well in this town for real. That's what we want to do. I wanted to talk so that I can maybe understand. This is really a question for me, but I'm sure the viewers as well. You talk about a form-based code with respect to. Maybe you can just explain to me about a form-based code, because you were talking about the way things are done, and that they need to be different. So maybe you can explain to us about that.
So the system that we presently have is not predictable. We have, imagine being able to start a project, have land, and investing a significant amount of money to build whatever you want to build, whether it be a building or a factory or whatever you were zoned for. The process as it stands allows people to come and challenge that, and in some parts of the city, and you would then you never want to. The city would sort of be at odds with the public, because the public says, "How did you let that pass?" And then they're at odds, and the project sometimes gets delayed, and people get sued, and it's a giant mess. A form-based code would, and by the way, there is no really any definition of a form-based code. We just want a new zoning code that allows for predictability, so that there is no variation. You know what you're expecting from the very beginning. And when you are committed and have invested a significant amount of funds into your project, it cannot change later on in the process. The current process does not provide notice to the people that could potentially be against your project in the early stages. So by the time a lot of people were finding out about it, and they were finding out that they were not for that project, it was already, halfway done. So we invested 3 years and $1.5 million into this form-based code last time. And after 3 years and $1.5 million, we said, let's scrap that project. And sitting in someone's shelf right now, collecting dust. So what I said during the campaign trail was, let's bring that back. Let's bring a code that is predictable, that is good for everyone, that has uniform applicability throughout the city. Because right now, depending on where you are in the city, different rules apply. So why not have a code that is uniform, that allows for notice to those who are impacted, that enables people receiving a permit or doing business with the city or constructing to know exactly what to expect, when to expect it. And I think that's what everyone wants. Yes. They want notice, they want predictability, and they want something that is uniform. And that's what we don't have. And that's what I'm really advocating for.
That's excellent. You see, we need to have that. I agree, because I think that these projects, they need to be held accountable to the people who are paying the taxes and doing this for the city, right? One of the things that I was wondering about, I don't know if you've been asked this question before. It's important to me because I've done my broadcasts, my sunrise broadcasts from the celery fields out here on Palmer Road. I love the celery fields. It is so awesome. But they're talking about taking that down. They're talking about leveling it and putting in warehousing. How do you feel about that?
Well, that as you know, is a county issue. Yes. And you can take that up with your county commissioners. It came up before. They were trying to turn that into a truck stop and a waste management facility. And it goes back to what we were talking about, just people caring and getting involved in their community, because the meeting lasted past midnight with hundreds of people showing up and flooding City Hall, talking about, not City Hall, the county chambers. And it's not something I have any control over, my board, but the people went out and they really voiced their concern. And because of that, the people's power and will, that project did not pass.
And I know that there was a lot of people that weren't happy about that, because that's one of the things that's coming up for downtown as well, this Bayfront project. Maybe you can speak to that Bayfront project. How do you feel about that? And I think it sounds like maybe a good idea for the city, right?
Well, the Bayfront project is a very complicated project, and a project that my commission, me being elected, I had no part, very little part in. It's already underway. It's already approved. There's already going to be a tax increment financing district, and it's going to be a very, very large project. And I think it's in everyone's best interest for them to succeed.
Yes, I think it's going to be a great thing, I think, in the end for us as well. Sarasota is a great place. I love being here. I know that you do too. I think it's awesome that you've been here all of your life. That is so really cool. Um, we love this place. I love the fact that I've been able to get to know you better tonight. I'm certain that the viewers have had an opportunity to get an inside view to meet you as well. I want to remind everybody that they can um, make a difference in their community by volunteering. Start with the volunteering. Know that when you take a stand and you have your voice heard, that you can make a difference, and that's so super important. Is it important for the community to attend the meetings that you have, Eric?
I think so. I've actively tried to get more participation. I think we need to invest in programs that allow people to view remotely, to comment remotely, so that we all know what's happening. Because these meetings are at 1:30 in the afternoon on a Monday.
Right.
And they go on into the night. But I mean, if you're someone who has a day job and you get out of work at 5, or you missed half the meeting. And I think we really need to focus on getting participation, getting everyone's opinion, because the community, a community that cares, really will develop and into something that everyone can be proud of. Everyone has pitched in and voiced their opinion, good or bad,
Mhm.
and but their opinion has been heard, and I think that's important.
It is important. Well, that's about all the time that we have tonight. We want to thank the viewers for taking time to watch us this evening. We want to remind you to come back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. for the Town Hall Get to Know, where we feature people that are top influencers from around the world. Tonight we had Vice Mayor Erik Arroyo with us here from Sarasota. Thank you so very much, Eric. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having.
Uh, did you have just a final comment that you wanted to mention?
No, and thank you for having me. This is, it's great that you're getting involved in the community, that you have these plans, and that you have a great story.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, everybody, for taking time to watch us. Take care, be safe, and be healthy. And we'll see you on Friday. Bye for now.